and I'm tempted sometimes to learn the new cheese diddles and stuff, but I also realize, do I really need this? I don't think so. But I think it's really cool that...
What's a cheese diddle, first and foremost?
It's like
they sell them in the chip aisle.
Yeah. Are they a new item at Buc-ee's?
Cheese diddles are like a flam with a drag and then another, you know...
It's like, imagine a paradiddle. Mm-hmm. Okay, right, left, right. So put a flam on the first right and as well as a diddle. Do that.
Yeah, lost me.
And then once you get used to that, now start it
the other
hand.
Yeah.
Because even though you're alternating right to left, so on and so forth.
And a lot of people think you're just a leather jacket wearing, long-haired rock drummer that drools. But you're actually the guy that was like, okay, now I'm going to do this exercise with my feet.
I would get, and part of the reason that I can do a lot of the stuff I can do is like, I get bored. When in middle school, I was playing drums 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
This is the Rich Redmond Show.
Hey, man, it's the drumming and doing what you'd love for your life is your youth pill.
We have a guy here who works for us. You met him before. His name is DC, and he's a professional bearder, competitive bearding. It's a thing.
Huh.
And I mean, his beard is amazingly beautiful, but the work that goes into that is
you gotta have a beard grooming.
You gotta have the oil.
The oils.
Like I do that with my beard. Do you do that? Like the oils
Yeah, my wife makes some concoctions and stuff, and I'll put them in there.
By the way, those are amazing truffles. It's a box of truffles right there.
Ooh.
We're recording.
The main thing is I wanted to get him out of my house.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, don't do that. My mother brought over, I don't know why she had them, but she had those Ferrero Rochers.
Yeah.
Those things are like...
Those are incredible. Because they got a little crunch in them. Now, these don't have the crunch, but they're richer. Like the milk is like, these cows are like princes and kings or whatever.
She brought over the multi-pack. Original dark chocolate and coconut.
Yeah. Oh, coconut's my jam. Like coconut milk, coconut shavings, coconut shrimp, anything coconut.
Carrot cake with coconut flake on top.
And it's got to have the cream cheese frosting, not the confection sugar.
Nope.
If you're going to go it. Go big.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it. If you're going to do it right.
I tell you what, Jim, what did you think of the truffles? Do you like them?
The truffles were good. I had one and only one.
That's good.
Because I'll eat that whole box.
You're doing your thing. You know where it came from? It came from my friend Stan Zlatkowski. I want to give him some praise on the show because he's kind of like he is a supporter of the arts in Erie, PA, Cleveland.
Yeah.
I just did the weekend with him. He had me in for my kind of whatever you call it, masterclass clinic, one-man show, motivational event. And he hosted and he had it catered and he was showing me all around town. And it was just a great time. And he said, here, take these truffles. And I just wanted to get him out of my house.
Sounds like it's your kind of party.
Oh boy, you gotta, this is what I tell everyone. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And our tour is 1 month away. So, I've been hitting the gym and drinking tons of water, doing my vitamins, doing my stretching, lifting the weights, got the paradiddles going. So I'm ready to go.
But you need to play on a kit though, right?
Yeah. All my friends at Remo love you, Chris Hart. I've been with Remo since 1995. Dinosaurs roam the earth. But I just ordered a set of, those silent stroke heads so I can practice,
nice.
Because I just moved into a new crib and I haven't built a studio yet and I want to be sensitive to the neighbors. I just don't want them to be hating me right out of the gate.
Yeah. Is DW, they've got the electronic kit out now.
Yes, and they offered to send me one and I got to take them up on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do it. There's your answer. Right?
Yeah, there's all sorts of answers.
The Bluetooth thing.
So who's that? Who's that's talking to me across the way from the Husenberg 90th anniversary drum case? While we're here, let's give props to our friend Mike Berg. It's an American company, 90 years in business. Congratulations, Mike.
Absolutely.
And you're also an artist, right, Chris?
I am.
All right, so here's the deal on Chris. Christopher Williams, hailing from Greenville, South Carolina, calling Nashville home since 2008. He's not even 40 years old. He's a rock star. Look at all the people that he's played with. Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, except Andrew W.K., Rex Brown, Derek St. Holmes. We share that. Did a little bit with Derek. Nice. Mick Mars, Blackfoot, Lee Greenwood, Kid Rock, Peter Stroud. What a player. Her, 1,000 Horses. The list goes on and on. He's played with members of P-Funk, Litz. Love those guys. The Stones. We have to hear that story. Kiss, Slaughter, Cinderella. He works a lot around town and on the road with Phil Schaus and Jeremy Asbrook. Sort of like the Asbrook. Don't say that too fast. The kind of like sort of like the three kings of like classic rock. You guys
classic rock.
Yeah, doing the thing, man. And we're going to talk about his education and his background and what he's doing. But really the latest thing is since 2015, celebrating 10 years, he has been the drummer with the legendary metal band Except You Got Your Balls to the Wall. Kick. We're talking about our friend Christopher Williams. What's up, buddy?
Hey, brother. How are you, Rich?
I appreciate you making the trip out here.
Absolutely.
Where's he coming down from? Where do you live in?
Hermitage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of a drive.
That's all right.
But you're right by the airport, which is great.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
And there's several means to get to the airport from Hermitage.
Yes. It's very, very convenient. Speaking of the Three Kings, when we were all kind of living in those houses in Donaldson and Hermitage, we all lived in these band houses. And then when we had to get to the airport, it was like amazing. And of course, this was pre-Uber, pre-Lyft. So we would call those cowboy cabs the minivan.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, we've got a lot of gear and we have a flight to catch. Don't be late.
Damn it.
They were always late.
Every time.
There was like 20 years ago, it was difficult to get reliable transportation. Now, everything is in our pocket. Uber, Lyft, you can order it the night before. I always get worried, like
You're still late.
Dude, 3:45 a.m. Sometimes my pickup is like 3:45 a.m. And I'm like, who is going to do this?
You can't blame them around here, though, because Nashville became Nashville.
What's that?
And it's overcrowded.
Yeah.
As soon as those 333 cabs showed up, that's when the game changed.
Really?
That's when it was, when you started seeing them pack the parking spaces on Broad and all that, and the cops would pull in and have to shove them out. That's around that time is when Uber and all that started in the city.
Yeah.
And then it was completely different. You could get what's now a $20 ride. You could get it for $3-4.
Oh, wow.
You could go from, I lived in Inglewood for a period, and to go from there to 5 Points, it's like $3.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. I used to go to Red Door East all the time because of that.
So what is this? It's a different thing that I don't know about? A different type of cab is what you're saying?
No, I was saying that's what Uber used to be.
Gotcha.
Yeah, back
when
when
it
there
first
was,
came in, because all those cabs were taken over and they were so much money.
Yeah.
they were trying to get market share by offering it cheaply.
But now they're just like, you all love us. You need us.
Yeah.
We're integrated
Now
into
we're
your
gonna
life.
freaking rape you.
We're part of your Delta Sky Miles account.
Because as soon as I land in Nashville, I hurry to the baggage claim. And as soon as I physically have that bag in my hand, I'm already like pre-ordering because then it surges.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
And you're doing that from the airport to Spring Hill now.
Yeah.
That's a lofty price.
$70.
Oh my God.
God bless you.
I know. $70.
Do you get to expense that?
Tax return?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Keep a track on it.
But a lot of times I'll drive and then I'll park at one of the park and flies or whatever. And then while you're there, you can get your car washed. And then you come back to a nice, clean, tidy car because who wants to wash their car?
So basically, you're looking at $140 to and fro, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how much it would be cut to just park.
That's why I ask for so much money when I play drums.
Well, it used to be nice. It used to be, I think it was like $27 a day or something for like the VIP parking.
Yeah, I do the park and fly.
Park and fly.
But I use Trade Bank.
What's Trade Bank?
Funny you should ask, Rich. TradebankNashville.com. Go check them out. They're, I'm just going to give them a little bit of a plug. If you have a business and you've got extra things lingering on the shelves and you can't really move them, you can trade them with other businesses. So that's what I do. I trade my voiceover services, such as on hold and automated attendant messaging with other businesses who need it. And I get trade dollars, and I could trade those trade dollars in for vacations, for parking, whatever.
It's a great idea. Isn't he a promosexual? It's incredible.
I love it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Kevin Murphy gave me that nickname, and then I've given it to Jim.
And you had to give him a nickname in return.
The Delightful Curmudgeon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's good. I mean, he would have a killer podcast.
He would have an amazing podcast.
Because he's not afraid
Murphy.
to say anything.
Yeah. No, I love Kevin. Kevin and I get along great.
He's very entertaining.
because of that.
Yes. Yes.
He just doesn't care.
Kevin, myself, and Russ Whitman.
Russ Whitman, yeah, man,
Yeah,
he's in that clique. It's the only time I'll ever see him. If I see Ben, Caesar, Keo, Kevin, and Russ, yeah,
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah, Russ and Kevin and I send some stuff to each other that will not be repeated.
No, hopefully no one catches your browser history or your text messaging.
Incognito. Thank you, Google.
So you know how you came on my radar? I really thought it was early on. Like I moved here in 97. So I really thought like in 2000 or something, our mutual friend, Paul Arntz, the bass player that plays for Lee Greenwood, was telling me, he always had some sort of a side metal project. And he's like, man, there's this new kid. I've been playing with him. He's fantastic. He's like so young. He's like 19 or 20 or something. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And then but it was 2008.
It's 2008.
Yeah.
Late 2008 when I met him. And what's funny is I remember meeting you prior to that.
Yeah.
Danny Archer put us in touch, and I think we went to Frothy Monkey or something like that.
Yeah.
Just briefly. And you're like, oh, well, there's Forks. Go there, meet people. Go to, 3rd and Lindsley. Go to these places around town. That's where you're going to start to network.
The
with
watering
guitar
holes.
players. Yeah. It's where you're just going to meet your community and get your foot in the door.
And you did, man.
Yeah.
What was the first non-Paul Arntz opportunity? If you're listening to this podcast, it means you're already looking to improve your drumming. Why not level it up in person with me when you book a one-on-one day drum intensive? Drummers from around the world have traveled to Nashville to study with me. We cover subjects like reading, rudiments, technique, hand development, charting, the Nashville number system, styles, percussion, music biz insider info, career development, positive mindset, and much more. Of course, we address all your questions, and my deep curriculum has helped players of all kinds move the ball down the field to be closer to their goals, even getting accepted to college music programs, moving to that dream music town, getting gigs, and keeping them. Find out more about my one-on-one day drumtensive. Go to drumtensive.com, drumtensive.com, drumtensive.com.
Have a podcast that needs a facelift? Or maybe you're just starting out and want to hit the ground running. At it'syourshow.co, we help you produce, rebrand, and elevate your podcast. Led by industry vet Jim McCarthy, a 25-plus year voiceover, music, and talk radio production pro. Jim's got the ear, the experience, and the gear to take your show from average to unforgettable. Podcasts are one of the most powerful tools to grow your brand, connect authentically, and build trust with your audience. But sounding like a pro? That's what sets you apart. Visit it'syourshow.co today, and let's make your podcast sound like it should.
What was your first, were you playing around town, or did you get a road gig right away? Or?
Yeah, well, I moved to town. I was already planning to move, but a couple weeks ahead of Winter NAMM, I was looking around Nashville Craigslist for jobs, still living in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I saw an ad for percussion specialist wanted, and I clicked it and said, oh, sure, and, sent in a resume and all that. And here's what I do. At one point in Greenville, I worked for Pentec, who manufactures electronic drums and cymbals and triggers and pads.
Yes, I remember those trigger pads because Trey Gray was using them for a little bit.
Were they similar to Heart Dynamics back in the day?
Very.
Were they? Okay.
And
Very.
the Dow's pads and all that.
Yeah.
Dan Dow's, what's up?
Yeah. Shout out. So I was manufacturing, and whether it was drilling aluminum castings or soldering or doing any of that stuff. And so I sent that in, I have a background in this, background in that. And then it came back. It was Juan over at Meinl, Juan Barrios. And he goes, oh, da-da-da. And I go, well, actually, I'm going to be at Winter NAMM in a couple weeks if you just want to meet up and talk.
Yeah.
So I did an official interview for Meinl as a sales rep during Winter NAMM. And then it becomes, okay, well, you got the gig. Can you start March 3rd? Okay. Well, that's in 4 weeks. I have to find somewhere to live. And I reached out and met a couple people online. One of those was the definite I'm moving in. Then that fell through a week before.
Ugh.
I was like, okay, who else do I know? Somebody called somebody that had a room for a month. And it was like, okay, that'll just get me there. I'll start the job. The first what led to the first opportunity was a coworker of mine was actually playing at Legends.
Uh-huh.
And I went down to see him one night. They had a substitute drummer who introduced me to the power trio he'd been playing with. He was expecting a baby, he and his wife, so he was unable to do the summer tour. Three of us got on stage, sat in, jammed, and then we talked afterwards. And then it's like, yeah, cool. Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll meet at SIR room 5 and we'll jam some of the material just to make sure. But yeah, if you're keen, let's go. And that was Richie Scholl.
Oh yeah, Richie Scholl,
Yeah.
like an Americana artist.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
Awesome dude. Aussie, Queensland,
Yes.
you know.
Does he live here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he and I are still in touch.
Good, man.
That was the first Nashville like gig.
Give him my best because I think I've known a lot of drummers who've come through his band.
Yeah.
It's like a rite of passage,
Yeah.
you know?
It is.
Cool, man. And your background in Greenville, when did you start playing? Because it says here you were a member of the Carolina Gold Drum and Bugle Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. On snare drum.
Yep.
And then you did some, you won a gold medal during the annual individual and ensemble competition.
Yep. For
On drum set.
For drum set.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when did it all start? Were you coming out of the womb? Did you have a musical family?
It was in the womb.
Yeah.
My mother tells stories of, you know, she and dad would be spinning records and, you know, they'd push the furniture to the wall and dance in the living room or whatever. And I'd be kicking. And when the song stopped, I would stop. You know,
Wow.
same thing going to concerts. And so, I mean, and then of course,
Well, what were they listening to? Like Kenny Rogers' greatest hits, that kind of thing, or Staying Alive?
bit of that, but it was a bit of everything. The real one, what mom calls what always gave her happy feet, long before the Disney thing, was Stevie Ray.
Oh yeah.
So I attribute being able to swing and shuffle to Chris Layton all day, every day. Stevie's one of my dudes.
What a great artist, just regardless of the genre. And yeah, Chris Whipper, Layton's Shuffle. Oh my, did you meet him? Have you ever met him?
Once.
Yeah.
I met him at the Fender booth. He was playing with Kenny Wayne Shepherd
Nice.
during an AM show.
Yeah.
And just got to shake his hand and say, thanks, man. Because of you and Stevie and Tommy, I know how to boogie.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was playing and listening to even before I got my first drum set, you know, while watching Motley Crue. I've got a brother that's 5 years older than me. So there was that musical influence from him. There was mom and dad's record collection. Dad passed away when I was really young. And so mom couldn't listen to that music anymore. It hurt her too much. So then she got into the country of the late 80s. So Alabama, Tanya Tucker, Clint Black. My first concert was actually the Kentucky Headhunters, the Pickin' on Nashville tour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was born and raised in Greensboro, North Carolina, until I was 11. I think just before my 12th birthday is when we moved to Greenville. So, and those were my formative years in Greenville. So that's why I always just kind of say that's home.
Yeah.
Even though all the family's in Greensboro.
Yeah.
So it's two homes.
I always get those, you know, I get Charlotte and Charleston, you know, and I get Greenville and Greensboro.
Well, there's also a Greenville North too.
Yeah.
That's a really confusing point.
Greenville, in North Carolina?
Yeah.
It's by
out
the
near-
coast.
No, I think it's near Winston-Salem.
Is it?
I think it's on the western side. I could be
Really?
wrong.
It's getting back to, you mentioned shuffles before. Rich, did you know that Christopher can put a feather in his cap by, he is my biggest influence on shuffles. We discussed, you know, I've been deep diving shuffles as of late because of the Huey Lewis gig, May 28th at the City Winery in Nashville.
Prosexual.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. Get your tickets now while it lasts.
Hey, if you don't promote yourself, nobody else will.
I know.
That's right.
No one cares as much about you.
I'm
as
horrible
you.
about
That's
it.
right. So he came in.
Horrible.
You know, we practiced a little bit, and it's kind of like, I appreciate these podcast episodes because we keep on talking about my journey up to this monumental event, which happens to you guys all the time. And learning, you know, because it's not a very typical, like, not many drummers going, oh, I'm going to pick up the sticks and learn to shuffle. You know, it's the boom schmack that they want to get into typically, right?
Yeah.
And I was told, well, hey, you're almost there, but you need to make it bounce. We want you to kind of fall a little bit behind the beat. And I told you this. And you kind of scoffed a little bit. If you did you scoff? I heard a scoff
When?
when we were talking about like playing behind the beat or ahead the beat or something like that.
Oh, I just try to play in time.
Right.
You know?
So Christopher walks in. I said, I'm trying to figure out what they mean. He's like, oh, it's just like this. Play it like a flam. And I'm going, oh,
What, this, Christopher? Did
yeah.
you guys already spend time together today?
We did. Like deep dive, man. I don't know where you were.
Oh my God. I was probably peeing because the bladder over 50.
Right.
It happens.
Dude.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christopher.
Absolutely.
Yeah, plus he's got probably a really mean double bass shuffle.
Like the Hot for
there's
Teacher.
that. Hot for Teacher, the Simon Phillips thing.
Jeff Beck thing.
Jeff Beck, yeah.
And
Virgil was huge for me.
Billy Cobham, Spectrum.
Oh yeah. I don't even know if I had my first drum set when my uncle gave me that album. Uncle Peter turned me on to Cobham and just like, what?
So many
is
drums.
that?
3 floor toms, 2 bass drums.
So many huertas.
He put the LP on one side of a cassette. So there was Billy Cobham Spectrum and the other side was Herbie Hancock Headhunters.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if I even had my first drum set yet.
That was Harvey Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember at one point just sitting to the kit and just jamming those records because I knew them from listening to them for a few years already.
Now, when you do your double bass shuffle, do you do left foot lead?
Depends. Depends.
Do you do either one?
Really?
Yeah. If I'm doing the Van Halen stuff, it's always left foot lead.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to Al, it's that gallop.
Yeah.
And that left foot, his left kick drum was always
doing
bigger
quarter
than
notes.
the right.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, that's what I got from Greg Bissonette, because Greg Bissonette's like, hey, here's the secret. You're always using syncopated rhythms on the upbeat or whatever on your right hand, on your right foot, and then you're always keeping time with your hi-hat on the lane. That's always doing the downbeat. So now all you got to do is put your foot over on the double pedal, and literally you are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I learned the Hot for Teacher shuffle just the opposite. A buddy of mine, you remember Jeff Vitti?
yeah.
Yeah. Up in Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
So he was a drummer and guitar player, a big, huge influence from Eddie Van Halen. And they had a double bass electronic kit back when I was starting to play. And I was like, maybe salivate to play double bass.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know how to play Hot for Teacher? I'm like, hell no. He says, think about if you only have a single kick, just do the dunk, 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 dunk.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can do that. And he says, didn't add any other foot.
That's nice. He's already a good teacher.
Oh, okay.
That new Accept record that you guys did in 2014, you tracked the drums to your house. It sounds amazing. But it's got a lot of
2020.
it's got it's got the red hot.
Yeah.
So clean, dude.
Just driving it.
Killing it.
Driving it.
And then when you go to do the fills, yeah, that's the challenging part, keeping that so clean while you're doing hand stuff. But you've been doing it a long time.
I mean, it's just practice. Everybody wants the quick and easy.
Yeah.
And
What's the hack?
It's not.
Yeah.
You know,
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
you practice.
Yeah.
You fly to New York.
But you buy a ticket. But I mean, it's the thing of you practice, and then at some point the light bulb just goes off.
Yeah.
For me anyway. And I've been fortunate in that sense where when the idea clicks, then it's there. Whether it's doing the Virgil stuff or just, like crazy, whatever you can think of, or the split lick, right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot, that thing.
That's nice.
That took forever,
It does.
but I never practiced it.
Yeah.
And then one day I sat down with the double pedal and the pad for about an hour, walked away, came back, and then figured rhythmically and feeling, not just thinking about it, but felt the relationship and those gaps and the spacing.
In your body, yeah.
Boom.
It's
there
such
it
a
was.
cool lick too.
It's a great one.
It's like I sit there like this morning at my B&I business meeting. I'm just like, just doing that whole thing.
I'm sure they loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes heads turn. It really does.
But the cool thing with that one too, as with anything, I'm of the school of if you can play it this way, play it backwards.
Nice.
Because with drum corps, that was one thing that we learned. If you've got 300 guys auditioning for 10 snare spots and you've got 7 of those snare spots returning, Even though they still got to re-audition, it's pretty much a shoe-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 3 open spots or something.
Yep.
Or, right?
And
10 snare drummers?
Yeah. And when they start making cuts, you'll have a line of 20 people and the caption head is walking up and down and cutting people.
He's looking at stick heights.
Or
he's looking at...
Or if everybody's perfect, if they've got it down to the final 12, they'll go, all right, play it off the left. Reverse the sticking in your brain like that. Go now.
Oh my God.
Do it.
That'd be interesting.
That never happened to you?
Well, now going back to,
because you were North Texas.
Drum corps and marching band are different things. I did 8 years of marching band, right?
Yeah.
But, I had a conversation with Greg Bissett about this. I was like, hey, all the advanced rudiments, the ones that are 46 and above, your cheese diddles and flam diddles and all that. I said,
the hybrids.
Those are the get you fired rudiments. And he goes, you're so right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like my hands, and I'm tempted sometimes to learn the new cheese diddles and stuff, but I also realize, do I really need this? I don't think so. But I think it's really cool that...
What's a cheese diddle, first and foremost?
It's like
they sell them in the chip aisle.
Yeah. Are they a new item at Buc-ee's?
Cheese diddles are like a flam with a drag and then another,
It's like, imagine a paradiddle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right, left, right. So put a flam on the first right
and
as well as a diddle. Do that.
You lost me.
And then once you get used to that, now start it
the other
with
side.
The other hand.
Yeah.
Because even though you're alternating right to left, you're always going to have the weaker hand. And your brain, as soon as you start with the opposite hand.
But that training is universal, which goes back to George Lawrence Stone's book, which is like, look, if you're going to go right, left, you want to go left, right. And if you're going to go right, left, you're going to want to go left, right.
And you better go between the exercises seamlessly without stopping and without changing tone.
Because you got to go right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I would build my feet, build my hands.
Nice.
All that stuff was doing pyramids.
Just not that committed.
Play singles, doubles, triples, quads, quints, all the way up to 10 or 12, and then come back down and then do it on the left hand and then do it with the feet. Double the note value, half the note value, so on and so forth.
And a lot of people think that you're just a leather jacket wearing, long-haired rock drummer that drools. But but you're actually the guy that was like, okay, now I'm going to do this exercise with my feet.
I would get.
He doesn't sound like
part of the reason that I can do a lot of the stuff I can do is like I get bored. When in middle school, I was playing drums 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like wake up, play the pad half an hour, go to the bus stop, play the pad, get on the bus, play the pad. In between classes, like race to the next class, play the pad. Band room during lunch break, like finish up early, run in the band room, play the drum set, go to the next class, pad. Soon as you got home, play the kit for 2 hours. Get off the kit, do your homework, get back on the kit, be done by 9 in the evening as a courtesy. It was like 7 hours a day.
I love that dedication.
And then I would get bored and I'd set the drum set up left-handed and play it like that for a week.
Oh, wow.
And teach myself how to play left foot. My right foot hi-hat still is not great, but it doesn't need to be.
Do you ever have your main kick drum pedal go out on you?
Oh, yeah.
Several
times.
I've never done that where you're setting up the kit backwards, but did you ever work on that Gary Chester New Breed book?
No.
Yeah, because you would be great at that because basically you're not turning the drum set around, but the whole idea is you have these systems, like these melodies, like an ostinato, and then you do some reading against the ostinato, and then he's got like a counting thing where your voice is the fifth limb, so you might want to be counting down beats, you might want to be counting up beats, and then you're leading with
sounds like fun.
It's like Weckel went sick on that.
That's the stuff that I like. You can see the smile. That's
He's got
the stuff.
Giant
I'm like,
smile.
Yeah,
that's a time eater. I mean, it's like, oh my God, where did the last 10 years go? Oh yeah, the New Breed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And the thing is, are you going to get hired for
left-hand
having
lead?
That chops or any? No,
that's kind of like the Thomas Lang thing, right? You know, he's a monster on the kit.
Yeah,
and he can do all sorts of.
Sure can.
You know, all the things, but when it comes down to brass tacks, he's just playing what needs to be played.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, Virgil too. Virgil had the Tina Marie gig and all these pop gigs in Australia in the 80s before anybody knew who he was.
That's right.
For being Virgil.
Yeah.
Before any of that stuff. But that wasn't really where he wanted his career to go.
Planet X.
And he was just like, man, this is what I want to do. That's me.
Haven't heard from Virgil in a while.
He's still doing clinics, tours, his original stuff. I think his last album was like 17 or something.
Well, he's a true artist in the sense that he puts out, and that's something I want to add to my repertoire. That's something to check off the list, which is sort of like a solo drum record, but very musical.
Yeah.
Where it could almost be licensed.
Can you sing?
No, it's not gonna be. It's gonna be It's gonna be a jazz flute record. It's gonna be a jazz fusion record, but like approachable, polite fusion. Like you could still clap 2 and 4 and that kind of stuff.
Just not 1 and 3.
So I want to do that. No, well, that's for our debut at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Sorry.
So between the two of you guys,
Hit the cymbal.
Sweatpants. Shut up and play 2 and 4.
So between the two of you guys, I'd love to see more video content on all those things that you guys can do, because people have like that preconceived notion that this is all you can do. Rich, you were like, oh, you're a rock guy, you play country music, but I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I've seen him riff before. He's got a deep well of knowledge, and his chops are, because all these guys that are like dominating TikTok and the reels and all this other stuff, they can't hack it. They didn't put the time in for the touring and studio sessions like you guys have, but they're circus guys online and like, hey, here's this, really lightning fast riff.
We met L.S. Tapario backstage, right?
Yeah.
L.S. Tapario is the Spanish guy that smokes weed and plays with one hand.
Right. I didn't even know he was there. He was playing with somebody that day. I just came out of our dressing room and he was in the hallway. And I go, oh shit, dude.
Yeah.
Photo?
Well, you and I could be creating more content, but he's out there, playing. He's got his balls to the wall. He's like playing to 20,000 people. He's standing up with the kick drum, getting people. You're a freaking rock star, dude.
Well, well, thank you, but it's weird for me, man. I don't feel the rock star thing,
well, people tell me, oh, you're a rock star. I'm like, well, I hang out with rock stars.
You know what? We were lucky enough that our dream came true.
Yeah.
That shouldn't change who we are as human beings.
No.
And I've never felt myself as the person to just throw myself out there just because.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like if anybody wants to ask a question or anything, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. But I don't want to bother anybody.
Yeah.
I'm terrible about self-promotion.
Yeah. Well, you did all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I need to be better. I've got 10 years worth of drum cam footage with Accept. I've got probably
you should put all that on YouTube.
15 or 20 terabytes of raw footage.
Would those guys be okay with you putting it out there?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. There's no board feed, no mix, nothing like that. It's 2
raw.
or 3 cams on the drums.
That's what I do.
Is it one shot, or you got to actually meld the shots together?
No, it's 3 separate GoPros.
Feeds,
So I would have to drop it into.
They're not switched.
No.
Okay.
And I've thought about doing that and throwing it in Final Cut and doing all that. But the other thing too is, man, when I'm home, I just want to be home.
Right.
No,
I get that.
I still, we have the studio at the house, which is awesome. So I can record remote in my pajamas, and that's fun. Or we can just be creative. I weld.
And I want to get into that.
I weld.
Yeah.
I did.
Hey, you're a woodworker.
Woodworking business.
Yeah.
I'm getting into a bit of the vinyl business for drummers.
Okay.
What do you mean by that?
So many skill sets. So you were telling me you're big, gigantic. You have several drum sets for Accept. You did the welding for your rack.
Mm-hmm.
That's one huge skill set in the story. But now you're saying a woodworking business. Are you like building furniture for people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like a website like ChristopherWilliamsCreations.com or something?
It's CDW Woodworks, and that's with an X on the end.
Yeah.
WORX.
You're designing custom furniture for people.
Yeah.
That is
He
killer.
recognized the wood of the table you're sitting at.
Yeah, this is what called
ambrosia maple.
And you know where I got this? On auction.
Nice.
I think we have more of it in the back shop.
I want to talk price.
You got pay attention to Macklemore Auction, MacklemoreAuction.com.
Okay.
See how he always
Macklemore
breaks the
auction.
fourth wall like Mr. Roper?
I love it.
It's sometimes they'll have wood that comes up.
Because lumber prices are not cheap.
and they auction it off for pennies on the dollar. So we got a whole bunch of this stuff. My guy who used to work here.
Excited! I just got wood,
but
and they backfilled it and everything. All the wormholes are backfilled.
Well, we had a guy who worked here who was a woodworker as well.
Yeah,
and he put this table together. I told him how big I wanted it.
This is Starbond adhesive. I know what that is.
Right.
Because I'm a dork.
Because those are 2 layers of wood that are sandwiched together.
Yeah.
You do this in your garage? Is that your shop?
Yeah.
Nice.
We've got, so it's a 2-car garage. Half of it is the shop. And yeah, I mean, I've got an armoire on the list to do for my in-laws as a wedding present.
Nice.
As a thank you for them. Got a bunch of stuff to do for the house. Next up, some friends want a custom island. I just rebuilt a 20-foot stretch of fence for a buddy of ours. Because I grew up doing carpentry and stuff outside of music.
Wow.
I built my first deck with my Uncle Lee when I was 12 or 13.
With your own hands.
See, what did you have the attitude of, even though it is a form of a backup plan, I'm not going to rely on that. I'm still going to.
Yeah, no, it's just always been a hobby.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'd watch Norm Abram on PBS, whether it was New Yankee or This Old House.
Mm-hmm.
And then when TLC became a channel, you know, they had Home Time and all those shows, and, you know, get in there, get your hands dirty.
You got to have a knack for it, though, which you do, obviously.
Yeah.
It's great.
Done electrical work, all kinds.
Yeah, I do electrical. I was in the trade for a season, but I love hearing stories like that with the welding and the woodworking, because it reminds me of Troy Laketta.
Yeah.
Like, we were interviewing him, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh yeah, and I do a roofing business." And you kind of went back in the drums. I'm like, no, hold on, time out here for a second.
Stop.
What did you just say? You're a roofer? He goes, "Oh yeah,
I've done that too.
right."
That's going to be hard in July.
Many moons. Oh, it sucked. I did it in August.
Oh.
I did it for about
which is the
3
prime
months.
season to do it, because you have to do it when it's hot.
Talk about a farmer's tan.
The only part, that's where I developed a fear of heights.
Yeah.
Really?
But the only part that ever really bothered me aside from that was just doing tear off. You know, because you're tearing off all the shingles and like the inside of your elbow is just coated with asphalt chips and just bleh.
Well, and also it's a hell of a way you can get hurt easily.
Oh yeah.
That's hard work, guys.
And I left because the company was taking steeper pitch roofs with no safety harnesses.
Ooh.
I mean, we're talking toe boards 5 feet apart, where you're like struggling to make that gap happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember being on a 3rd-story roof with my brother one day, overcast. We shouldn't have even been up there. He and I showed up to the site first. The materials were there. The supervisor said, "Go ahead." And he and I are hanging off the edge of this house with our feet dangling, nailing on starter strip over the gutters, and just going, "I don't think I'm coming back after
3
work."
stories, man.
I'm pretty, and that was like, I was still in South Carolina, but I was starting to gig regularly. I had just gotten picked up by the Booty Band to do a fall tour. Yo Mama's Big Fat Booty Band.
Mm-hmm. It was like a funk tribute band kind of thing?
It was 7-piece funk band with a horn section.
Yeah.
We went out open for P-Funk and Fishbone, Abbott Brothers. Did all kinds of head festivals and craft brew fests when craft brew was just
Getting big.
kind of becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Alongside podcasts.
You like the IPA?
Oh,
I love IPAs.
Oh, yeah.
If I have to go craft, I like a West Coast IPA, like a Sierra Nevada style.
I dig the
Christopher-
heavy, the hoppier, the more bitter.
Oh, you want a hop?
You want bitter.
If I could get away with drinking Space Dust all night, I would.
Space Dust is nice. Two
Home
of
style.
them.
It's
home style.
It's just 9%, so you can't really hang out and drink that.
Well,
all
Voodoo,
night.
Voodoo Rangers like that. The tall boy Voodoo Rangers.
the green one.
They've put you to freaking sleep.
They've got the 7% one, the orange version of the IPA,
And they're very fruity.
That one's really.
I love Space Dust. Yeah, man.
Space Dust and also home
means
style.
a different thing now than it did back in the day. Though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully.
Yes.
Well, if you want a good podcast to listen to, the Ales and Tales podcast, make sure you check that out.
Nice.
Jim got in his 5 promotional points.
That's right.
At the front of the show.
It's a podcast, a buddy of mine, Mercurio.
Yeah.
We're friends with Mercurio.
He's our financial advisor and a beer expert.
He's a
Nice.
very articulate, very intelligent beer expert.
So you got a guy that drinks a lot of beer handling
But he's
your
so
money.
thin. You're like, where are you put it?
Just kidding.
He's freaking rail. He's a gymnast in the making. But it makes you have an appreciation for it, because I never did.
Yeah.
So like, okay, what is this? What kind of notes are you getting on the nose? And I'd just be sitting there looking at the other people going, I don't know.
It's gotten to the point.
It smells like
Jim
beer.
burps.
It's like wine and bourbon,
You're right.
and scotch and stuff now, where you're just like, what?
Right.
But it makes sense, because if you think about it, you go to the store, there's that wall nowadays full of craft beers.
Yeah.
You don't know where to start, but having something like that's cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just reach for the same 2 or 3 standbys.
Well, you figure out what you like and everything. Even, with, the whiskey, having a couple of nips every now and then, I'm like, I'm getting a taste for this stuff. This is kind of dangerous.
Oh yeah, it's all dangerous.
And then we got into, the Evan Williams eggnog.
we
right?
also got into cigars.
gosh.
I got into cigars about 5 years ago.
Are you an eggnog guy when it comes to
No.
Dude, neither was I.
No,
Evan Williams, I'm telling you, 2 words. 2 words, China. Evan Williams.
Wuhan, China's the popularity has dipped.
It's the China virus. It's terrible, terrible.
Oh,
I'm working on my
yes.
Trump impersonation.
Hey,
Is it
the
good?
kid from Nashville, that does Trump on SNL is spot on.
I had a guy in here yesterday.
Brian Austin, whatever his name is.
On my podcast,
Yeah.
the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast. Check it out, mmtbp.com.
I love it.
It's
It's
amazing.
I can't wait to read the show notes so I can go back and
Jim
visit
talks,
all these sites.
Jim talks. Jim promotes. Jim promotes.
Dude.
I thought this was the Rich Redmond show.
Yeah, oh my God, that's so funny, man. That's like he's on fire right now.
I love it.
So listen,
What?
we do want to hear some stories about what it's like working with Accept. I mean, and I'm sure you listened to him as a young man, and now you're on stage with them, which is amazing. But you also want to hear about, some Gene and Ace stories. You're working with your rhythm. Did you ever get to work with Paul? He seems like he's he's like less out there.
Yeah.
But he'll go and he'll be. My mom saw him in Toronto. He did the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he'll
that was
do musicals.
99.
Yeah.
Yeah. 99. I remember
So
when
what's
Could he
it
hit
like?
the notes and everything?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
he went into voice training for that.
Had to.
And when they did the farewell tour with the original lineup in 2000, you could definitely tell a difference in his voice.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it was
Rushing
Michael
it.
Crawford in the original cast. And he hits that one note when they're down in his area, the Phantom's basement, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's got Christine Daae.
You're talking about at the end?
no, it's actually in, I want to say the first
time
act.
he takes her down.
The first time he takes her down. And yeah, my wife will watch that and the hair will stand up on her arms.
Yeah.
That's that kind of a note.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for someone to hit that with the power.
Gerard Butler in that movie with Emmy Rossum. No.
He could not hit that note.
Remember when Les Mis, all the actors, the big Hollywood actors did Les Mis,
Hugh Jackman?
Hugh Jackman's a song and dance man for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
Even The Greatest Showman. I mean, there's a video on YouTube where they're playing, they're rehearsing From Now On, which is a great song, very deep. And he just wanted to stop by, encourage the cast, and make an appearance. And he just had sinus surgery or some sort of cancer removed from his nose, and they told him not to sing, and he did it anyway.
Ooh.
And he just belts the crap out of it, man.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous performance.
Sebastian Bach did Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
I think on Broadway. It's a
A
while
lot of
ago,
people
but
will
yeah.
go out just out of curiosity to see
Yeah.
how they do.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, they're like, hey, I don't care. Like if they nail it, they just want to go see it.
I just found out recently your boss did a rendition of I Remember You. Do you recall that?
Wow.
Oh yeah. It was one of the first things that we ever recorded with
Skid Row.
Aldine in 99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Aldine,
Yeah.
I've talked to you about it before, but
How loud my click is?
no.
Because remember one time you said, I heard the click coming from your ears 10 feet away.
There's that.
Yes,
but
We've
No,
reduced the volume now. I'm on straight up at noon on the ears on the pack.
I start there and go down as the show goes.
Nice, bro.
Yeah. I put the pack on noon, set the mix myself on an iPad.
Yeah.
and then just
try to bring it down
as the night goes. Just let my ears reattenuate so I don't blow them out.
Great. I don't usually go above 1 p.m. on the.
That's overkill. If you need to, you're vibrating your brain. Then
don't go to 2.
Don't do it.
Your cochlea is being rocked.
This goes to 1.
Yeah.
By the time that I came
I got to give major props. We've talked about it before, and I listened to it again in the car. Your drum part on Back in This Cigarette.
Oh,
fucking brilliant.
Oh, thanks, man.
Fucking brilliant.
It was so long ago.
But I remember hearing that shortly after moving to town and just going, this is a new breed of like session country, because there's like your lick going into the second verse. Ba, 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 boom, but the way you execute it, the hi-hat foot splash on the outro where you're playing on the rim, and then you go to the snare march and all that stuff.
Oh,
just
man.
Swampy, almost like second line outro thing.
Dude, thanks, man.
Before you kind of gracefully bow out with the cymbals and the little side stick on the edge of the cymbals.
Nice, man. I
the
appreciate
fills, everything in that song
man.
is just perfect.
I appreciate it, man. And you know what's so funny is that it was all done in like under an hour. And, I got to give props also to Michael Knox for being so encouraging and open-minded to percussion, because for the first 9 records, he would say, yeah, bring in your stuff. And I would dump out my toy box of all my interesting stuff. That track's got like an oudou drum and a shekere and some shakers and tambourines, finger snaps and suspended cymbal rolls.
You've got that constant right off the get-go.
Shakers are so powerful. I mean, for $20 or an old Advil bottle that you fill with rice. Yeah. It's just one of my favorite instruments.
That's the cool thing with it too, is you can have so much fun. You can go out and I remember going into Forks a couple years ago. There was a Meinl double row brass jingle that's like the 10-inch one with the little inset handle, and getting so excited over that because it was the first time I remember hearing such a clean tone.
For your tambourine.
Yeah, for a tambourine. No mics, no nothing, just in the corner at Forks. Just it just, and then I got.
Are you a Meinl guy?
No.
Oh.
Sabian.
Sabian. Okay,
Sabian.
good. We'll say we're both with Sabian.
Shout out
What's
Stanky.
up, Chris Stanky?
Yeah.
Isn't it nice, like, to be able to have a friend in the business where you're like, who you calling? Who are you on the phone with? Oh, just my buddy in Burbank. I'm just getting some new cymbals. I mean, it's just so cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love Stanky.
He's just, he's a lifer.
He took a chance on me when I was, I don't know, younger.
Yeah. 20, in your 20s.
It was 2011. I was with Leroy Powell.
Yeah.
We had just gotten a tour opening with Kid Rock and stuff because he used to come down on Broadway and jam and stuff. And, Leroy had, I guess, I don't know if it was through Shooter Jennings or what, but Leroy had some connection in there.
Now Pearl is celebrating 75 years in business.
Yes, they
today.
Yes, they are.
Yesterday or today. So we had Jason Hartless on.
Yeah.
Some of your colleagues, Keo. So you've been with them and you got a lot of drums. So when you order a new kit, it's like, I need a 10, 12, 13, 16, 18, 2 24s.
Call the bank, get a loan. Second mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big drum set.
A lot of, and then your
It's a lot of
cymbals.
fun.
I mean, you're going like 15-inch hats, 16-inch hats.
No, 14-inch hats.
Oh, wow.
I use the AAX accelerators.
Oh, nice.
But
And
it's
big crashes.
But it's double hats because I could do the X hat thing over here, but the honest truth is when you have an X hat here versus playing crossed, believe it or not, you hit the cymbals differently. And now you've got a secondary mic that's got all this additional bleed from whatever else is over it. And sometimes your bandmates don't want to pan or anything. So I do the Tommy Aldridge thing where I've got the closed hat on top of the pedal hat.
Yeah.
So if we're doing double bass, I don't do a drop clutch or any of that. I just have it barely sizzling for them.
French kissing.
Yep. And just do that. But they're both right here. So I can play open or crossed on them.
Yeah.
Depending on what I'm doing. But I've got 2 19s and the models change year to year, but 2 19s up front, 2 19-inch Chinas hovering over that 80s style.
Yeah.
And then 2 20s, usually thinner crashes back here, the big wash, but then they're all pitched, bing, 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 bing. So depending what riff is being played or whatever, I'll play the cymbals.
Nice attention to detail.
Not that anybody's going to hear that, but I hear it when I record the song anyway, and that's kind of the muscle memory.
And then what do you do for a ride with a band like Accept? You need a giant bell.
Mega bell.
The Mega Bell ride?
The HH Power Bell, yeah. Wow. The Vinnie Paul ride.
So that used to be, that's kind of like Sabian's equivalent of the
Zilbell.
Right? Yeah, I mean,
no, that's like the Zildjian Mega Bell. Zildjian did a 21,
right?
And they still do. They just reintroduced the Z Custom line, but I think Customs
are nice.
I think that's kind of where it started, and then Vinny went to Sabian, and they did that for him. I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken,
I finally got to break some bread with Will Calhoun, and
nice.
I had Vivid. Living Colors Vivid on cassette in 1988 or 89.
Vivid and Time's Up.
Amazing. Yeah, dude. So, but he had that Mega Bell ride.
Yeah.
It was just all bell. The whole thing was a bell.
Cult of Personality got me fired from a band.
Well, no, he was using, back then, he was using either the Earth Ride or he was using the Z Heavy Power. I've got a couple of those 24s, and I'm just waiting for the Sabian custom shop to open up so I can get the Roy Mayorga ride.
Ooh,
because it's basically that. It'll give you tennis elbow and break all your sticks, but you will hear that ride the next county over.
Oh, I used to, even at a younger
it weighs 14 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
It's dumb.
A 24-inch ride though.
24-inch.
Yeah.
Gosh.
14-pound ride cymbal.
Because I used to have the 24, the AA Bash ride. But it wasn't 14 pounds.
Yeah. Just look up Roy Mayorga, whether it's with Stone Sour or Ministry
How
or
thick
any of
was
that.
It?
1/8 inch easily.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's dumb. And I've been telling Stanky for years, I'm like, dude, come on. He goes, once custom shop's pumping out, we'll get you one.
nice.
Come on, man. Come on. I want it.
Because I had back in the day when
Give me
like
2.
Green Tractor hit the airwaves, I think it was like 08 or 09. I had a 24-inch Sabian
Evolution.
AA rock ride. Very pingy, huge bell. You could still wash it a little bit, but mostly ping. You shoulder crash it a little bit.
Was that when you had the natural kit, wasn't it?
The natural
on
sonar
the flats
kit.
tour?
Yeah. I don't know who's got that now. I sold a lot of my sonar stuff to Gary Asher, the drum collector / drum. I don't know if you call him the drum pusher. They call Don Bennett the drum pusher because he bought Carmine's kit. He bought Ringo's kits. And it's the last big purchase because I just got to spend some time with Don. He bought all of Aerosmith's their warehouse. He bought everything.
Wow.
In the Aerosmith warehouse, and then slowly but surely took the time to trickle everything out and sell each item one by one. Wow. And of course, he's patient, and he was able to like quadruple his profit.
Oh yeah, I knew he had Kramer's the purple swirl DW with the white hardware forever.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, I love that color combo.
Were you into the Appice Brothers? Did you like those guys?
Yeah. Respectively on their own. I mean, I had the realistic rock book with the poster.
Totally.
With
his leopard shirt,
the Pearl Syndrome,
Yeah.
concert toms right up front.
I love Carmine. I love his his vocabulary, his vernacular.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Absolutely.
He invented all that shit.
Bark at the
well,
moon,
what
baby.
about some of these stories? You got any funny stories here? Working with Gene, working with Ace, working with Mick Mars lives in town. Of course, you can always tell the Lee Greenwood story about how you had to prepare for that.
There's that one. Yeah. We could start with that one.
Start with that one.
It's kind of odd though, even like you have all these heavy acts, John Corabi, except Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, and then you have the one that stands out, Lee Greenwood.
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the other.
So that came about with our buddy Paul Arntz, who was, I think he still is with Greenwood.
I think so.
But forever.
What's up, Paul?
Paul Arntz, woo woo. But I was renting out his house, and there was a studio downstairs. We had a band together, like a little metal side project. We jam and stuff. And there was a casino gig, I think in Oregon, maybe it was, where last minute, whoever their artist for that weekend was got sick and bailed, and they needed a band ASAP. Bless you.
Thank you.
Blessing you.
So Andy wasn't available. Their drummer at the time, and
Andy Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their keyboard player wasn't available either. So Paul calls me and goes, "Hey, they just called Greenwood and asked what's up with this gig. Can you do it?" Well, I'm missing a couple people, but let me see. And Paul calls me and I said, "Yeah, man, cool." He goes, "All right, let me confirm it. I'll call you back." So I'm like eating nachos, watching TV. Paul calls,
Homemade nachos.
Yeah. Paul calls back a half hour later. He goes, "Okay, the gig's on. I'll send you the set list as soon as I get it." Okay. So now it's like
10 p.m.
10 o'clock, something like that. And he goes, "Okay, here's the set list. Rehearsal tomorrow, 9 a.m. SIR.
God. Got like
22 songs. We're doing 20 of them.
Yeah,
but
11 hours to learn this
Learn
stuff.
these other two."
Yeah.
And I go, "Okay." He goes, "Go downstairs to the studio, the center drawer on the desk. There's 2 iPods. One has the board tapes. The other one has the album versions."
What's an iPod?
Yeah. He goes, "Listen to the board tapes, but reference the album versions as well." So I did, and just did the best I could, skeleton charting and specific licks.
Do you read specific? You obviously read notation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big help.
Massive
help.
But I didn't have enough time to actually do a full transcription of every song.
It's a guide chart.
So it was skeleton sheet, certain licks, signature parts, whatever, bang, 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 just got through it, slept a few hours, got up. Paul came over and we went through tunes, basically ins and outs. And he's like, "Okay, went to SIR, do the rehearsal." Lee didn't even play through the full songs. We'd get like up to the bridge, maybe halfway through the bridge, and he'd go, "All right, that's good, fine."
Yep.
And we're like, and Becky on keys, she and I are like,
Becky Priest?
Yeah. Sorry. And we're like, "No, we need to do this for our sake." And he goes, "Nah, you'll be fine."
Nice.
Okay.
So the gig comes and you kill it.
So we leave SIR at 6 p.m. We've got a 6 a.m. flight to Oregon.
Yeah.
Get there, quick line check, and then just study, do the gig. 2 minor mistakes the whole time. One was a rhythmic figure I played backwards on a fill. And it was something quite literally like, instead of Pat Boone, Debbie Boone.
You did Debbie Boone, Pat Boone.
Pat Boone. The only other mistake, which was not technically a mistake.
Yes.
Lee would start this ballad downstage right on a keyboard. And he starts it himself. All the board tapes I referenced, he just starts free form. He turns around and looks at me and goes, "Give me a tempo." Brain fart.
Yeah.
Deer in the headlines. Felt like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was probably like 2 seconds. He's, "Give me a tempo." And I go, "You got it." And he laughed and just started coming in, playing pads. You're playing pad chords while you're talking to the audience. Yeah. You don't need a tempo. Are you just messing with me?
So great to be here again. This is a beautiful theater.
That was literally it.
You beautiful crowd.
But he wanted me to count him in for that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have
It's free form.
have a tempo marking on that one because I didn't play on that song.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, he's good. He starts it himself. He's got it.
So did you only do one gig with them?
Yep.
But the main thing is that you were given that opportunity. The door was cracked. You end up kicking the door open. Then now you have Paul who's championing you. Mm-hmm. All the other people that were in the band are championing you. Yep. And that's that thing that just gets that ball rolling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Do your homework, kids.
Preparation. And I say over preparation is the key to success.
Absolutely.
But the thing is you were willing to not sleep for one evening of your life to get the ball rolling for your career.
And I played with a Grammy Award winning artist.
Heck yeah, man.
After being in Nashville less than a year.
Yeah.
I think it was 11 months at that point, 10, 11 months.
Were you doing the day job over at Meinl at that time?
I was out by that point.
Okay, yeah. Now tell us how you came across Phil and Jeremy, your brother, rhythm section brothers.
Yeah, so that was, I was playing with an artist at the time. Her name was Missy Johnson, Missy McQuarrie now, married to Shaker, who was with Southland.
Shaker?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him in years.
Yeah, me either.
but I was playing with Missy doing her original stuff, and she and I are also like major Zeppelin heads.
Yeah. Well, you have a tattoo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the rings.
Yeah.
But so we had this tribute night coming up where we were calling the band Roberta Plant, you know.
Nice.
And
That's great.
we'd worked up all the material, and the mighty Dan Halen was going to be headlining. And that was Phil Schaus on guitar, Paulie Simmons on drums, Phil's wife Raquel, who played with Maggie Rose for a while.
Nice.
She was on bass. And then rest in peace, our friend Matt Harris, who did a lot of writing with Leon Russell,
Wow.
was our Dave. And he was Dave. Like
the ashless chaps?
not that far, but I mean, but like talking to him in general, he was Dave, and he could do the wow, that split vocal thing. Oh, but so anyway, we're all set. They're going to headline. We're going to open. Flood hits, May of 2010.
May of 2010, the 100-year flood.
Yep, flood hits, and I guess something at Paulie's house had gotten flooded. Phil's basement, where they rehearsed on 12th South, had gotten flooded, and they pulled out of the gig. And I called in desperation. I got Phil's number because I had met him once or twice before playing when he was with Karabi, and I was like, dude, I know that Dave era like the back of my hand. Let's do this. And he goes, nah, man, it's cool. And, you know, to his credit, if you don't know somebody, that's a lot. So he's, no, thanks. So we ended up we still did the gig, but we did a mixture of Zeppelin and Missy's original material. But those guys still showed up to support at the Rutledge.
Yeah.
And that's where I met Jeremy for the first time.
Gotcha.
And Matt and Raquel. And they were just like, damn, dude. Yeah, we should hang out.
We should like do some more playing.
And that's where
I doubted you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where that started. And a week or so later, Phil invited me over to the house. We're hanging out and talking music. And, you know, oh, what's your favorite record? Oh, blah, 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 blah. And it's my turn. And I go, well, nobody really knows it. I said, but it's King Biscuit Live Flower Hour, 1973 at Winterland, Humble Pie.
Wow.
And Phil...
Frampton. Humble Pie.
No, after Frampton. Post Frampton.
Gotcha.
Clem Clemson. And he had the Blackberries, which were Ray Charles' backup singers.
Wow.
Marriott had started playing lead guitar again and harmonica and B3
So
on
totally
stage.
obscure, but he was down with it. He knew it.
Phil knew it, and he goes, dude, what? And goes over and throws it on the turntable. And I go, you know that record?
Nice.
Just freaking out. And next thing you know, we're air guitaring and jumping off the couch like children.
Yeah.
And it always reminds me of the scene from Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends? Yes. Do you want to do karate in the garage? Yes.
Look at all this room for activities.
It was that. Hey, do you like guacamole? But it was that moment, and that solidified the bond. And then through Phil and Jeremy, I was brought into that rock and roll community, which really threw the doors open.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, I mean, I fancy myself an overeducated rock drummer, but there is this underbelly of rock and roll in Nashville more than ever. But I mean, you three guys have really made a name for yourself in a country town, being the go-to rock guys.
Absolutely.
And what was the rock and roll residency? Is that still happening?
Sometimes they're actually doing one. I'm not sure when this will air, but they're doing one Friday actually.
Oh, okay. This has probably come out in what, 7 weeks or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. Strike that. But
Well, anyways, this Friday would have happened. So this Friday is where?
Eastside Bowl.
Oh, the Eastside Bowl.
Because now they do it once, twice a year.
Hey, man, that Eastside
like
Bowl
that.
is becoming quite a popular venue.
It's rad, man.
A lot of music.
There's 3 different stages in that place, and
That's
they're all
smart.
completely different.
Who owns it? Does Grammy own that?
Chark Kinsolving.
I don't know him.
So Chark built and designed the sound and the stage and everything over at Basement East with Grimy.
Gotcha.
But Chark also did Cannery, Mercy, High Watt, and several other venues.
So he's a total venue entrepreneur.
And he is, you can ask him any question about any band, and he can give you all the details.
He's that guy.
He's that guy.
So he's a student and fan of the genre.
Absolutely. And he's a killer guitar player too.
Chark.
Yep. Chark Kinselving.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this and go, Redmond, you're an asshole. I met you 2 years ago. But I don't know.
Well, he still might call you an asshole either way, but
yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm being called things as we speak. So, well, that's great, man. And so you guys have got this thing. And so where you kind of like lift each other up and you got this 3-headed Hydra, you know?
Yeah. And then you've also got, I've got to give a major shout out, Jared Pope. Because he's the drummer for the
Rock and Roll Residency.
Yeah.
Who did do some work with Thompson Square.
Yep.
Yes.
He was with Thompson Square for a while, Brother Kane, Whiskey Falls, Tom Kiefer's drummer for years now.
Jared, what's up, man? We'll get you in here. Come on.
Damon Johnson.
Yeah, we had Damon Johnson on early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Jared's killer too, man. Total rocker, but Vinnie chops.
Oh, nice.
Like,
yeah,
he's a bad dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's up, Jared?
Woo.
We'll do the thing, man.
Yeah.
So who else, dude? Funny stories here.
Ace, I guess.
I mean, Ace is a character. Come on, dude.
Yeah, anybody that's ever been around Ace for 5
talks like
minutes
that.
can do Ace's voice.
It's like that guy, but like a serious Long Island accent.
Yeah, he's from the Bronx.
Oh, he's
you
from the
know?
Bronx, yeah.
He's Bronx.
Yeah.
Used to
Bronx
play at
boy.
Tuxedo Junction in Connecticut all the time.
Yeah.
And buddies of mine, the guy I told you about, Billy Willie.
Yeah.
Yeah. They used to go see him all the time and do the exact things that we're doing now, kind of mimicking him and stuff like that.
He's great.
Frehley's Comet.
Frehley's Comet. Yeah.
With Anton. Yeah.
But we were in Japan with Ace. We did 3 nights in Tokyo, double shows, and then a night in Osaka, double show. And so the last night in Tokyo, we had finished the final performance there. And, Ace is all over the place. I've got one of those Gene Simmons vaults because we had just played with Gene in Australia, and Ace opened, and then he would come out at the end of the night. And we were the band for both Gene and Ace.
Yeah.
Myself, Phil Schaus, Jeremy Asbrock, and Ryan Cook. What's up, Ryan? So I get this 40-pound wooden box full of all these unreleased CDs of demos and stuff. Fly it to Japan because there's no way I can ship it home, and it's cheaper just to pay the extra baggage fee.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got it backstage last night, and Ace sees it, and he goes, "Oh, what's that?" I go, "Oh, it's, Gene's vault. You want me to sign it?" I go, "Yeah, man, that'd be great."
This is great.
I roll it over, and Gene, when you'd purchase one, he would sign the top of it and do this little meet and greet and stuff. Well, mine was a gimme from the record label, hey, we've got some extra ones. And I pestered the rep long enough. Then he's like, "Here, I don't want to ship this home. You take it." So Ace sees it and he goes, "Oh, Gene didn't sign it?" And I go, "No, Gene doesn't know I have it." And he goes, "Good for you. Don't give him any more fucking money."
Those guys are like still.
Yeah.
Right?
They love each other, but it's still.
They got to give each other crap. Knowing full well it could probably come back to him.
So Gene, so Ace signs the whole thing, and Keith LaRue, who, works like day to day, Paul Stanley's guy, but he also is their official photographer with KISS. He runs the website, does the contest, conventions, all this stuff. Awesome dude. He's asking Ace, he goes, "Ace, do you have one?" "Oh yeah, Gene gave me one of these. Have you listened to it yet?" "Listen to what?" "The box set, the vault. It's a box. Ace, there's 10
CDs in them.
10 discs in there. Why the hell do I want to listen to his crap he didn't put out?" And we're like just dying laughing. So Ace signs it. We all say, good night, because the next day we're flying to Osaka, packing our bags. And Ace has decided that this band is going to go on the KISS cruise in a couple months. And so Ace is leaving. He goes, "All right, fellas, we'll see you on the cruise." And I go, "No, Ace, we'll see you at the airport tomorrow." And he goes, "What?" I go, "We'll see you tomorrow morning at the airport. We have 2 shows in Osaka tomorrow night, sold out." And he goes, "Oh, we'll figure it out."
So wait, so he wouldn't. So you're cool enough with
What
these
is
that
there to figure out?
he wouldn't mind you doing this impersonation.
No.
Okay.
Anybody that knows Ace, does it.
Does he still?
Ace is great. I see anytime. No, he's been clean and sober probably like 15 years
Oh,
now.
good for him.
Yeah.
Now Gene never touched a thing. That is insane.
I think the only time that Gene ever got messed up, there was some after party early on in the Kiss days, like pre-Destroyer, first 2 or 3 records. It was an after party or something like that. And Gene's got a major sweet tooth.
That's his thing. Sugar.
There's 2 trays of brownies.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hot brownies.
One's fully leaded, the other one's unleaded. Well, he starts digging into the fully leaded
Well, you
ones,
can't eat the full.
and he apparently had to ride that out for
Days.
a long time. Yeah.
Days.
Yeah. But according to him, that's the only time he's ever been messed up.
What a businessman.
And that was
And were
completely
those guys,
accidental.
are those guys like taskmasters to work for? Or are they pretty much like, you guys sound great. We'll see you at the gig. Done.
Gene was great.
Yeah.
Gene was totally, you guys are the band. You guys know what you're doing. You're great. Awesome. I had a blast with Gene,
Yeah.
like from day one, because Eric Singer's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if you ever met Eric.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We text all the time.
North Hollywood guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Vegas now.
Oh, in Vegas. Okay.
But-
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Eric,
Really?
that May, in May of that year we were at a Kiss convention, and Brent Fitz was on the gig. He was Gene's guy,
Love Brent. Yeah.
but Slash was getting ready to go out and do the thing again solo, and that's his gig. That's his moneymaker. So Eric goes, dude, Christopher, why don't you do the gig? You know all the stuff. It's perfect for you. Why aren't you on the gig? And I go, well, if, Ryan and the guys call me, sure. Great. Like, initially I was supposed to do the gig, but I was on tour with Accept. Woe is me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, then that came about for doing the gig. But Eric said, when you work with Gene, right out of the gate, just bust his balls.
Oh, he likes that.
And I was like, no, I can't. Man, that's the dude. That's the demon. I can't do that. And he goes, no, trust me. Do it or he's going to walk all over you. He'll respect the hell out of you for it. So the first gig we did, Gene walks into the dressing room, sees the other guys. He doesn't know me yet. And, I've got the long hair down and everything. And he's like, hey guys, da-da-da. Oh, Jesus. So good for you to join us. And I go, behold, Bubby, I have risen just for you. And he goes, you're one of us, right? Meaning Jesus or Jewish and everything. And I go, yeah, him, but me not so much, Bubby. And immediately just the rest of the night just started ripping each other. It was great. And then from then on, traveling through airports.
He enjoys that.
Oh, yeah. He's a practical joker. Eric is too. Eric's like, they just constantly mess with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. A slapstick and stuff. If you ever left your coffee around Gene, he's like, you paid $5 for a cup of coffee and left it sitting there. And he would just dump a bunch of salt in it. Look at this. Like Gene always keeps his phone tucked down into his boot.
Yeah.
And then puts the leather pants over the boot. And he goes, look at this. This is a $1,200 hand computer. And people just leave them laying around. But Paul walks into a room and just sets it down as well as the keys to his Porsche and walks off. Somebody could just take and you're like, you got a point.
Yeah.
He's not
You got
wrong.
a point.
Why does he put it in his back pocket? It's harder to answer if it's tucked into your boot.
Leather pants.
Gotcha.
Tight leathers.
Tight leather pants.
Yep.
I got my tight pants. I got my tight pants on.
You
Nice.
see the leather pants, don't you?
But yeah, Gene was a blast to tour with, man. He was
sounds like it.
absolute, and he's a gentleman too. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, he's a really, really good dude.
And well, that's great to hear. And then how did this Accept thing come along? And give me the history of Accept, because I know that, you've got your balls to the wall in 1983, which was like a year or two before you were born. And now you're playing with this band, right? So
That's my ball buster, by the way, because I'm the youngest in the band by 10 years.
yeah.
So,
But I mean, is it the original singer, the original guitar player? Like, what is it made up of?
Wolf's the last original dude that's there. Mark Tornillo from TT Quick. Mark's been there since 2009 when they reformed the band after about 10, 15 years.
Yeah, so
like that.
you're saying, is that the singer, the original guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mark Tornillo.
So,
Joyzy Boy.
yeah. So he's the original singer.
Fellow Sparky,
Yeah.
by the way. Union guy.
So it's becoming sort of a foreigner kind of a. If there's only one original member, it was either Mick or Lou,
Yeah.
and then everybody else is side guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
With the exception of, though, Mark, when he joined the band, they put out a record called Blood of the Nations.
Yeah.
Which still to this day is one of their biggest sellers.
Really?
And completely reshaped the sound of the band.
Yeah.
So it went from, the Udo type vocals to now you've got a guy that can still do all that, but this guttural, powerful, just.
Is that your drumming on the Blood of the Nations?
No, I joined midway through the Blind Rage tour. My first studio record was Rise of Chaos. Then we did Too Mean to Die at My Place. And then we did Humanoid, which is the record we just finished the touring cycle on.
Okay. So those years are, so I can look them up.
Let's see. Rise of Chaos was 2017. Too Mean to Die came out January of 21, I think. And Humanoid was 24.
Nice.
And then there's two, I think it's two, might be three. No. Yeah, there's definitely two live albums I'm on. We did a record that came out early 2017 called Restless and Live.
Live record.
Yep.
So how did you guys, was it truly live? Like you didn't touch it? Did you just like a mobile recording? Here's the set.
So pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, you have the technology. If you want to tune a vocal a little bit, you should.
The vocal, all that stuff was there.
Yeah.
Minor stuff if a guitar was out. We did a festival in 2015 in Bollingen, Germany called Bang Your Head.
Yeah.
So when you get Restless and Live, you get the DVD of that show. That thing's full tilt.
Yeah.
The audio from that, because there's one moment where there's this giant long catwalk, this big thrust going into the audience. Peter Baltus and Wolf are out on the end of it. Peter's the original bass player who's no longer with the band. Peter and Wolf are out there jamming, and Wolf turns around and heads back because, we got to sing. And Peter just jams a little bit too long and realizes it last minute.
Oh, no.
There's about 4 steps going down from the main stage level to the thrust, and Peter's up there in shit kickers and cowboy boots. Runs like the wind to get back up and caught the tip of his boot on the top step at stage level. Face planted, slid all the way up to the riser on his bass, and then just sat up on his knees and threw his hands up.
Like, I meant to do that.
If you watch the DVD, I don't remember what song that happened in, but if you watch that DVD, you'll see it shows Peter on the catwalk. I think it cuts to Wolf or Mark. Then it cuts to me, and I'm dying laughing. I am just in tears. And
you could tell he wasn't hurt.
No, he was fine, and everybody else is in tears. But the crazy thing was, he got up and his bass was still in tune.
Amazing.
Oh,
wow.
So could you hear it like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we cut that part out.
Yeah,
we fixed that.
Had to punch that. Yeah.
But
amazingly enough, it stayed playing.
But then there's 2 CDs that come with it, which is live audio board tapes from the full year. So it was like, I think there was a show or two in Russia that we recorded that year. There's some stuff in Greece. There's stuff throughout Europe, South America, maybe. All kinds of stuff. So it's cool. So that's Restless and Live from 2017. And then in later 2017, we headlined the Wacken Festival in Germany. So that's the biggest heavy metal festival in the world.
Wow.
It's something like over 4 or 5 days, it's 300 bands or something like
A
that.
lot of distortion.
Dude.
The main
Is that where you ran into Anvil? The story of Anvil?
Yeah, one of them. The main, and it's one of these where they do, Europe has its stuff together when it comes to festivals. They know what they're doing. 2 giant main stages right beside each other, and what they call the infield. So that's the main big act headliner stage. 85,000 people in the field. Beyond that barricade, though, you have all the elevated platforms that can hold a handful of thousands, and they're scattered all over the place. Plus, there are delay towers in the other field at different stages. Whatever band's not playing on that stage, they're streaming the live one, the main stage. We played, when we headlined, we did it with the Czech National Symphony Orchestra. Full-on 60-piece orchestra.
Wow.
Bombs, fire, the whole deal. 85,000 people in the field. Over 1 million people live streamed it, and it was simulcast in 7 different countries.
It's amazing.
And my mom and my now wife, were there to witness it. So that was cool.
Hey, tell us about that cologne to get your musk off after the show.
So my wife, Ainsley, is an artist, rock and roll Americana. But she also has a company called Ainsley's Essential Blends, where she does all natural cleaning products, smells, and you name it. And we came up with this. It's a roll-on scent for him and her.
Nice.
Called Rock
See,
and
he's
Roll
breaking
On.
the fourth wall now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leather. It's
It smells like leather and
I joke.
And
I said,
metal.
just because you look like a rock star doesn't mean you have to smell like one. Or no, just because you party like a rock star doesn't mean you should smell like one.
nah, it's great.
But yeah, it's leather and a bit of musk, but it's soft enough to where, you smell it on a woman. Like, oh, hey.
Well, how do you get how do you get a scent of leather into a bottle?
Talk to her. She knows all that.
Magic.
I don't think she's going to divulge details.
That's
but
incredible.
Is there a website or anything?
Ainsley'sEssentialBlends.com.
There we go. Look into the camera and say it now.
Ainsley'sEssentialBlends.com.
Promosexual.
Hold on. Now say it. Describe it to us.
Ainsley'sEssentialBlends.com.
That's right.
Rock and roll on.
Yes.
Roll on.
For him and
Or for
her.
her.
Yeah. Dude, we made a cheesy commercial because we make fun of like the perfume and cologne commercials all the time. Like
They're so dramatic.
Like the one where Johnny Depp buries his damn jewelry in the desert and a wolf howls. What does that have to do with a smell? Sauvage.
Yeah.
Or like the
Sausage.
what's her name? Walking through like the Egyptian temple and J'adore Dior.
Yeah. Natalie Portman,
Yeah. All that stuff.
Yeah.
So we're like, man, let's just get silly. We'll make one of those and we'll both dub the voices and I'll do the super low sexy.
That's right.
And we'll just make it as silly as possible, but it works.
Yeah, man.
That's like, you ever see the hype reels of certain, do you follow any of these like gurus online now?
No.
So, well, okay.
I look at cats.
Cat videos are great.
Thought leadership type of videos. I follow a lot of these guys, and they'll do these things where everything's in slow-mo. They'll have the car, the Porsche will pull up and the door opens slowly and they're getting out and putting the sunglasses on for some reason.
And then going to their
And they're going to their private, everything's slow-mo and it's just life, man. This is just me.
every day.
And it's like, I want to make one where I'm doing the same exact thing, looking how I look, getting out of my banged up 2008 Honda Odyssey. And just, if you want to learn more about success, follow Jim.
That's really funny.
There's one out there, the like Russian blonde with the Bentley or whatever, scratching it like the ASMR, AMS, whatever that thing is.
Right.
And she's like scraping her nails across the grill and Bentley. Flicking, the hood ornament. That's it. Bentley. There's been so many parodies of that where somebody comes up and like knocks on the hubcap and goes, Hyundai. or slams the door.
Yeah,
You know,
Hyundais are like the,
Yeah.
Kia.
it's like the knockoff of a Honda, man.
Yeah.
Hey, they came a long way, man.
Yeah, man.
Aren't they in Kia?
So you got cwilliamsdrums.com for people to reach out to you, and you guys got the tour this year, right?
Yep. Yep. We actually,
Except worldwide.com.
yep. Exceptworldwide.com/tour.
Nice.
Sure.
Beautiful.
I got to say, I'm looking at the website now, and you guys look so metal. You're not going to bruise. You're going to rust.
Well, you know what the rule of heavy metal photos is?
Smoke,
No.
backlighting, and you're not really.
You're missing all of it.
This is what I'm seeing. I'm describing what I'm seeing. You're not really smiling, but you're not grimacing or looking mean at me. You're kind of smirking. All of you guys are kind of like you're almost cracking up.
Phil likes to joke that we're the happiest metal band in the world.
Yeah,
That's great.
and I love the fact that you're not holding drumsticks.
Yeah.
You're not, because it's like
I'm the
I just
drummer.
want to make sure that you know I'm the drummer.
Yeah.
I'm holding the
It's your
drumstick.
Zildjian shirt.
And the fact that you also have a font that has a voice.
Sabian.
Well, it's not like that. It's more like Accept is a German heavy metal band with legendary impact and an iconic reputation spanning over 4 decades.
You too can get your balls to the proverbial wall.
Yeah, but it has that voice. It's like a Trajan font, I want to say.
But I was going to say the most important part about taking photos with a heavy metal band, the underlying unspoken rule: first one that smiles gets kicked in the nuts.
Oh, yeah, no smiling.
Really?
Just smirking. And you have to look like you're holding a secret.
Or you just have to go full on.
But it's really hard to get a great press shot for so many bands.
Drink my last beer?
Right. Did
Yeah,
I just,
because-
it's like, did I just drink piss?
Yeah, because
Is that the look?
it's like you can't be by the railroad tracks. You can't be in the alley or against the brick wall.
Skid Row already did all
It's
that.
like-
Are you guys familiar with the building in Chattanooga? You guys familiar with Chattanooga?
yeah, that's the multi.
like
compound thing.
as you make the curve
know.
around the river, it's on the right side. They're destroying it now. But every time I drive by it, I'm like, that's a perfect place for a heavy metal video.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just an old rundown industrial mill. Windows are broken.
There's
Sepultura.
somewhere in Franklin. There's a building like that actually is a photo shoot place where they've actually curved the bottom of the wall and painted it solid white so they don't have to hang the fabric.
Oh, really?
We did a video shoot in there, like as a promo release when Uwe and I joined the band in 2015. We just did a half of a song called Fall of the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
We did that there, and we did all the press photos there as well.
What's a music video? Come to think of it, now that we're getting visually descriptive, like for some reason I'm thinking like the old War for Territories video from Sepultura.
Mm-hmm.
What's one that kind of resonates in your mind as a favorite that kind of inspired you as a drummer? Because I mean, Igor was a freaking beast.
You mean video?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just an odd question.
The one that sticks out when I think like metal video, just the overall look and theme was Skid Row Monkey Business.
Oh, great
Where
song.
Baz is standing out on the railroad tracks and then they're jamming.
How about Rat, Bobby Blotzer, Round and Round? Funny.
Well, even Blotz is like the king of the
Lay it down.
I want to bring that groove back.
Dude, it'd be good
We're
to
missing that.
Bring that back, dude.
But yeah,
With a
the
shuffle.
The mega massive iconic one for me as a kid was Wildside, Motley.
Oh, yeah.
Watching that and the drums and just like
I like that Shout at the Devil video because the girls are just so ready to go. And
looks to
I was
kill.
like a a horny pubescent teen. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, she does have the looks to kill.
and she's crawling over the rock.
Ging bell, bing bing bell.
And I love it that he actually hit a bell. The clock strikes midnight. Boom.
Ging.
Even though the bell's this big.
Dude, Tommy is just such a rock drummer.
He's such he's a monster.
just
Cool. Another cool story.
born to be a rock drummer.
So, they always say don't meet your heroes and everything. And for years and years, like Tommy's top 5 for me.
I was going to ask you. So
And,
if he's in the top 5, what's the list?
Tommy Lee, Randy Castillo, Jerry Shirley, Bonzo, of course, and then probably Vinnie, because you just have to. Vinnie Colaiuta.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say Vinnie Paul.
I mean, Paul's in there,
Yeah.
but if you're talking about top 5 that have like shaped me, it's those dudes.
How about that Joe's Garage record, brother?
Oh,
Let me ask
keep
you
it
this.
greasy so we don't go down easy.
What is the Lars hate justified, do you think? I mean, I've always, he's not. I mean, back when I used to listen to them like pre-Black Album and even the documentary they did, he was solid, man. Is he just kind of phoning it in now, you think? Or
No, it's just his meter. You know,
Right.
that's the thing. Like his drum parts are solid.
right.
He's great in that, but it's just his meter everybody bags on, which, you know, is true, but there's no Metallica without him. He's the brainchild.
Yes.
Both he and James, but Lars probably more so.
Yeah.
Is the driving force.
He's
And
a
it's
spokesman for the band.
absolutely.
is.
He's the business guy too.
Yep.
You know, and it's
He's the gene.
absolutely.
Isn't it funny that us drummers usually have some sort of second, third, or fourth hustle / skill, something else that we bring to the band, whether it
We're
be like our
octopuses.
marketing or our socials or our graphic design or something, you know?
Voiceover.
Absolutely. Voiceover.
Well, the thing with about Lars is the fact that I think he's got to be aware of, you know, with social media roasting him and stuff like that.
He's laughing him all the way to the bank.
does he
still,
care?
He still takes it in. Well, come
He's
on.
in his
even
mansion beside
though
the pool.
I get it.
having a cocktail.
I know, but there's got to be a level of where, you know, it kind of stings, but he takes it, at least on the surface, he's a good sport about it. You know, you got to give him that,
I'm sure.
you know?
You know,
Because, I mean, you see him on stage, he's pulling kids out of the audience, letting them sit with him. That's cool, man.
That is cool.
I mean,
You don't have to do that.
and the other thing too is like, think about it in this sense. Tama drums,
Yeah.
he single-handedly drove the shit for them and still does realistically.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, you know how many tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of drum sets that guy's probably sold
Yeah,
for
because
that company?
he is kind of like the Ringo Starr of that brand. Because I mean, sure, you love Billy Cobham, you love Simon Phillips, you love Kenny Aronoff. They might sell some Stuart Copeland, but like Lars,
Yeah. He's the dude.
'Cause back in the 80s, it was the two top, the Pepsi and Coke, if you will, were Tama and Pearl. You remember back?
Oh, yeah.
That's when I got into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pearl was my first entry into brand new drums.
Yeah, man.
And then you had Ludwig was like
Ludwig was 70s.
somewhere in there
Yeah.
trying to compete, but those were the guys.
They had a big presence in the 70s thanks to Zeppelin. You know, Neil was a Slingerland guy at first. Then he went to Tama.
He went to Tama.
Too.
Yep.
And then, of course, you had Alex playing Ludwig. Gene.
But Alex was always Tama hardware too.
Well, I thought he played. I remember reading an article with him. He played Ghost bass drum pedals, and I've always wanted to look those up.
Those were the Tama pedals.
Were they? Oh, I had no
wow.
idea.
I think those were the if I'm not mistaken, I've got a pair of Stefan Kaufmann's old Tama pedals
Really,
where it's that 70s design strap.
leather
with the-
strap.
Yeah, but the spring assembly is actually going up.
Yeah.
In its own
Oh
chamber.
yeah.
But you're
know
not
if-
going to Ludwig for hardware. Let's face it.
No, well, not back then anyway.
Yeah.
The Alice stuff's pretty solid, but I mean, he was all Ludwig drums, but as soon as they started making some cash, it was Tama hardware, and that's where the octabands came in.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
octobans.
Well, Tama was also.
And the Rosewood snare.
Did you say Stuart Copeland?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because he's the one who kind of brought that to the forefront too. And Tama became aligned with being. Well, Kenny Aronoff was a Tama guy too.
But what's cool though that a lot of people overlook, Stewart gets the credit for the octobans or whatever, is actually Billy Cobham.
Really?
Cobham was the very first one in the 70s to have the gong drum and the octobans, and they were the acrylic ones. Those were the first ones, were the clear acrylic tubes.
He's got the history of drums right here, man.
Hey, I tell you what, our friend Bart Vanderzee, he's got that drum history podcast.
Oh, yeah,
It's a couple of hundred episodes. And what he does is I gotta reach out to him or see him at a trade show or just get him on the phone. I think it's a great show. It's very buttoned up. It's very researched, but he'll be like, they'll do a focus like the drum gear of Alex Van Halen, the drum gear of of Nico McBrain, the drum gear of Ringo Starr, and they do a deep dive, and he brings on experts, and they talk about what that guy had through the different eras, and they'll do like the history of the bass drum pedal, the history of the hi-hat, something you're like
sock hat,
the history of electronic drums. It's a really educational podcast.
That's another world that I'm really, really into is the electronic drum world.
Yeah.
Love it.
You guys follow? Remember when we had? How did I unfollow this guy? That's weird. Vintage drum catalogs.
Yep.
You follow that on Instagram? Remember when we had him on?
Yeah, Maxwell Schaff. Do you know Maxwell from
Not personally,
from
but-
KHS, Mapex, and then he plays down at Robert's Western World so much. But
Oh,
anyways,
rad. Cool.
he collects all these vintage.
They're
drum
great.
catalogs.
It's such a great walk down memory lane.
It's incredible. Hey, what's your favorite color?
Red,
We got a red. Yeah. What's your favorite
Red.
food or dish?
Mexican.
Dude, Tex-Mex or just straight up mole?
Straight up Mexican,
Yeah, dude.
Mexican.
Where do you go in Nashville? Where's the spot? Is it Nolensville Road?
I mean, but
Gallatin Road?
It depends on what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Like, there's a spot toward Mount Juliet. I don't remember the name of it, but it's one of the few places I've had that have killer tamales.
Tamales.
Yeah.
I like the green around Christmas. Oh my God. Because I grew up in El Paso.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like fantastic.
Yeah.
What about your favorite cocktail?
It used to be vodka crayons. Used to be.
Yeah, I went through that phase.
And then something happened around 35 where this thing called the hangover started kicking in.
Yes.
Yeah. Ainsley was the same way. It was right around the same time, oddly enough. It's just like,
Oh God.
Jesus, what? Ow.
Yeah.
You know, and those hang around for a few days,
She needs to make something for that.
right? Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'm a Scotch dude.
Oh wow.
Scotch and tequila.
Haven't
Don't mix
experimented.
them. Don't mix them.
I haven't experimented with the Scotch, but it seems very sophisticated and something you could sip.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. That's why I dig it. Because, man, again, the hangovers.
Yeah.
Like,
Great movies.
you can give me beers and it's like 4 or 5 right off the bat and then mellow
Yeah.
and then just take it slow. Can't do that with liquor.
Yeah.
You got to respect it or it'll kick you in the face.
Yes.
So I guess margaritas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're made well.
What they would call skinny margaritas.
Yeah, I'll do the skinny margarita.
But a real margarita.
Yeah.
Where it's lime juice, some form of a triple sec.
Yeah. And do you like the reposado or the blanco when you're just doing your tequila?
We'll do reposado.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'll sip añejos and mezcal.
Hey, get this. I got a friend, Greg Sobel. I met him like over 20 years ago in Southern California. We were playing the Galaxy Ballroom in Santa Ana. And I kept in touch on and off all these years. And he just developed the world's first kosher tequila. And he sent me 2 bottles of this stuff, a reposado and a blanco.
Killer.
And it's kosher.
L'chaim.
What makes it kosher though?
He's going to explain that, but it's basically the idea, whatever that process is where,
It's
like
not involved in animals whatsoever.
there's no
I know
animals,
that.
but
No
there's
cloven
definitely-
feet.
There's a process where it has to do with the ingredients and then what they approve there's a priest involved or
That's
there's
cool.
some sort of a process.
Because I know it's like super clean.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
rules. And so anyways, we figure maybe we'll get him on the show because he's a true, he has that entrepreneurial spirit.
If he bring you some samples, call you boy.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I just can't wait.
I got the Tequila Jones from our singer Mark
Yeah.
with Accept. He's a tequila head.
Nice.
He's so there's for beer drinkers, there's an app called Untapped.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of sign in and do all that. There's one for tequila, where wherever we are in the world, he gets on there and looks at the map and finds what's near us. Because that's our game. Myself, Mark, and our rhythm guitar player Uva. If it's not Mexican, we will find the Irish pub. We can be
Like
in
a
the
good
middle
Irish
of a
pub.
desert,
Yeah.
and around the corner there's somewhere with Guinness on tap, and the lines are clean, so it doesn't taste skunked. We will find that place.
I
Have
need
you
to
been
give,
to
I
the
need
Guinness?
to give Guinness another shot.
If we're playing in your city,
Yeah.
either like where the grandmother is in the kitchen cooking,
Yeah.
we're either going to be eating that Mexican food,
Yeah.
or we're going to be at the Irish pub.
some fish and chips and a Guinness. Have you been to the Guinness factory in Ireland?
I was in Dublin once.
Yeah.
But we got in at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I missed it. But
Next time.
I went drinking in Old Town, which was maybe a half a mile from our hotel, where all that is.
Yeah.
And it was the most delicious Guinness I've ever had in my life. It's also where I discovered like the Jameson cask mates before they came here, and then like the Jameson single barrel, like the black label. That's like super smooth and a little bit sweet, but not too much.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite spots to visit in Europe? You're probably being there so often that you have your favorite go-to spots in each city, country, just like the States, like.
I love Hamburg. It's a water city. So just walking along, the docks and everything.
Yeah.
I love water in general. It gives me peace.
Yeah.
Especially in this crazy, hectic thing that we do. Hamburg's great. There's a city called Leipzig in Germany that they've got one of these old beer halls that's a couple 100 years old underground called Auerbach's Keller. And it is the most amazing meal I've ever had.
Awesome.
It's reindeer.
Oh, I've had reindeer. Yeah.
Slow roasted, marinated with the gravy. They've got the red cabbage and knödel, which is like this puffed up potato dumpling type thing.
Amazing.
You want to go to sleep right after you eat it, but it's the best thing.
Yeah, I had the reindeer in Stockholm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Munich's great because of Hofbrauhaus.
Yeah.
I love that. One of my favorite beers.
You've been there for Vegas? Did you go to Hofbrauhaus Vegas by chance?
No. I didn't know they had one. I knew there was like a replica in like Chicago area, kind of like Rosemont or somewhere around there.
Where do you guys
compares?
Do you guys play like Rome?
Not Rome. We've played
Pisa, Florence.
What's
Napoli?
Milan. We played in Milan.
Oh my God, we're the most beautiful, well-dressed people in the world.
And the cathedral.
Yeah.
We played there a handful of times. Not much in Italy.
And great spots to buy fashion-forward fashion.
I saw a pair of overalls.
Yeah.
Like a Versace label or one of these like mega monies with factory grass stains and scuffs. And it was like $5,000.
That's hilarious.
For a pair of overalls. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at it going, dude, we can just go to Goodwill and I'll walk on them if you want. I'll charge you the same
Jim will
thing.
just Carhartt it up.
We'll just, we got to put Tractor Supply on the map.
We just got to Oshkosh by gosh it.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying, it's like if you're in Paris or Rome or Milan, I mean, you're gonna find some nice threads, man.
Yeah.
I'll lose them. I'd rather buy drums. Snare drums are going to last longer and they'll actually appreciate in value.
Hey, Jim, ask your question. And then we have a bass player coming in.
Ooh.
Amazing.
Ooh.
So my question would be, what part of a kid's movie completely scarred you?
I'm sorry.
Ouch.
Of a kid's movie.
It could be like Pixar or
something you watched when you were a kid that was a kid's movie.
Oh, I see.
That scarred me. I don't know.
Bambi's mother gets killed.
Yeah, that kind of a thing.
No.
Okay, how about this one?
Scarred me.
That was a stinker.
I don't know. It was like horror movies.
Makes you think, though.
It does, dude.
Pet Sematary scared the hell out of me.
All right, there you go.
Zelda upstairs.
My brother loved that movie. Again, 5 years older. Scared the hell out of me.
I didn't go to sleep that night.
I couldn't see the cassette tape without getting scared. So my mother would hide it on top of the refrigerator.
VHS?
Yeah. But then my brother would also pull crap. Like if he was babysitting me, I'd be in mom's room watching TV and he'd reach in and cut off the light and pull the door closed and go, check.
Oh, wow.
And scratch the door. And you're like 5 years old. You're not thinking I can get off this bed and just go turn on the light. It's just him. Like that was
Friday the 13th, right?
Yep, yeah.
Yeah.
All of those. He had the full box set when they came out.
Oh, yeah. Freddy.
All of them. Jason Takes Manhattan, all of that stuff.
And Michael Myers is quite a character.
But I mean, that question
Michael Myers will
yielded
not
fruit.
die.
But he grew up, watching, like Freddy Krueger was hilarious to him.
Yeah. I'm your boyfriend now.
And through the phone. And,
yeah, hilarious.
But yeah, it wasn't until years later I got into that genre, and now I love it.
Oh, I love
But
horror.
just messed me up, man.
Love it.
Messed me up.
I've seen them all.
See, that was a good question. It yielded fruit.
Yeah,
How
that-
dare you throw shade
That
my
was
way.
fruitful. Yeah, but the first one was a stinker.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That was
It wasn't a child's
it went into a different version of the question.
Hey,
That's
man,
all.
I'm just Gene Simmons and you.
I know you're freaking roughing me up here. What's you got an issue? We got to talk about something when we're done.
No way.
What do you mean I'm funny?
What's so funny about me?
No. He's a big boy. He knows
am I, a
what he
clown
said.
to
He
you?
said it. He knows what
What,
he
make
said.
you
Let him
laugh?
talk. Let him talk.
I'm talk.
When he stabs him in the trunk.
Oh, yeah.
God, brutal.
It's- Ma,
Then they just go eat dinner.
Sunday dinner, yeah. No, Ma, it's the what do you call it? The hoof. Ma, it's a sin. It's a sin.
Great. Amazing movies.
All the
Great movie.
Goodfellas and all the Godfathers.
Dude, I'm telling you, this was so long overdue.
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate you coming out. Man,
Appreciate you having me.
Have an amazing tour this year.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Hope you get to visit. Are you going to be able to visit those spots you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully so. I know we're doing we got like 4 or 5 weeks in Europe this summer.
Now you guys go to Asia?
We're doing Japan in a couple weeks.
Tokyo's got to be a blast. I haven't done it.
I love Tokyo.
It's like another
but
planet, right?
Osaka is my favorite other place in the world.
Yeah.
If I could live anywhere else, I'd move to Osaka.
We got the Osaka Japanese steakhouse up the street.
You know, it's actually
little different.
topical,
Slightly.
but by the time this comes out, it's not going to be so topical. I want to go visit Bangkok.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know,
Never been to Thailand.
have you guys seen the videos?
I
and stuff that's been
connected
coming
in
out?
Shanghai once in China. That sucked.
Yeah.
You mentioned
You got what?
being.
We had a flight connection. We were flying to Australia from Tokyo and connected in Shanghai, China.
Oh wow!
That sucked. That was not fun.
Did you guys see those videos this week that came out from the big earthquake over there?
No.
Oh my God.
You see, like all the
Oh, is that the pool
buildings
on top
that-
of the building?
Yeah, the pools were
Yeah.
splashing out and falling down and all this
And
other
it
stuff.
happened so far away, and the effects came all those miles.
Yeah.
So get this, one of my gals,
Don't swim on the roof.
good friends, Sophie Monk. She's a celebrity. She's a huge celebrity in Australia. She hosts Australia's got this and all the dating shows over there. And she was in Bangkok when it happened.
Really?
And survived.
She okay?
She got out of there. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it reminded me when you were talking about earlier being 3 stories up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, imagine being up on a building and it starts swaying.
Man, there was a video of there was a couple in it's an infinity pool on top of a roof,
Yeah.
but at least there's a glass wall. But they're on the top of the building,
Yeah.
swimming, and then you see the water.
Yeah, start sloshing around.
Don't swim on the roof, kids.
The guy's holding on for dear life.
Yeah, don't nope, not
So
today.
there's a glass wall on the edge.
On
Well,
the edge, yeah.
In the infinity
it's-
pools, it
but
gives
it's
the
about-
illusion of an edge, but there's actually a splash area. And there's a little bit of room.
On a proper infinity pool, it flows over and there's actually a basin, but it looks like it just goes forever.
Yeah, like that's the edge of the
This
building.
was that theme, but a giant, thick, I guess, plexi or acrylic wall, probably the depth of the pool and maybe another 4 or 5 feet above the deck.
Yep.
So not that big, and you're swimming and looking down at the earth as the water's. I'm
Get out of that
sloshing
pool.
around.
I'm good.
Get out of that pool.
I mean,
I'm
they
not,
literally
I'm not getting in that thing anyway. You kidding me?
They got videos of the pool water splashing down. I think one of the pools emptied completely, and people on the ground got washed away like a tidal wave.
Broken necks, probably.
Yeah.
No.
Oh God, that is horrible.
I won't even do the Chicago, the ledge or whatever with the cracked floor. And then is it in Vegas? There's a room you stand in that actually tips.
Oh yeah.
I think that's Chicago too.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
No.
Not for me.
I'll keep my feet on the ground.
Christopher Williams, cwilliamsdrums.com. Also check out his woodworking business.
Yep.
Check out his bride's business. It's just called one more time.
Ainsley's Essential Blends.
Yeah, I love it.
AinsleyMusicOfficial.com.
Amazing.
My personal socials, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff is at C Williams Drums. CDW Woodworks with an X. CDW Metalworks with an X.
Dang, bro.
And soon to be launched, kicklogos.com.
Oh.
So you're going to start doing logos.
I've been doing custom heads for myself and friends
Really?
for years and years.
Great.
I need
But-
one.
What happens? You're a Remo guy,
Yeah.
right? You're a DW guy.
Right.
You got a red kit.
Right.
You want a red logo on a fiber skin head, but who's got it? Where do you go? You got anybody in town? No.
Not anybody in town.
You want custom graphics to go along with that? No. Call your boy.
How you doing it? Like laser printing or something, or is like
Die cutter at the
We
house.
gotta talk offline.
And then graphics.
Yeah.
I'm doing out as well.
That's smart, buddy. See, you're really smart. And if one of your revenue streams goes away, you're cool because you got 5 others.
Yep.
Yeah.
And recording out of the house.
I love it.
A&C Studios.
That's right.
Nice.
How many inputs? 24 inputs.
32.
32 inputs of drums to your inbox.
Yep.
By Christopher Williams. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
I
brother.
appreciate it, man.
Good to meet you.
Likewise, Jim.
Jim, thank you for all you do.
brother.
Thank you.
And to all the listeners, we appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review. There's it helps people find the show, and we've been noticing that you guys have been leaving some nice reviews. So keep it up. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Jim.
This has been The Rich Redmond Show. Subscribe, rate, and follow along at richredmond.com/podcasts.